Okay, I think everyone can see the screen. So, like in this session, we are going to cover in this workshop, we are going to cover all this topic. Okay, so if you are interested in learning AWS data engineering, or if you want to learn something about AWS data engineering, this session is going to be useful. So we are going to cover first about ourselves. So what we do about education. This program is sponsored by Education Eclipse. So about Education Eclipse, we will see what we do, and about the trainer, about myself, I'll explain what I do. Then we will get into why cloud, what is cloud, about AWS, and we will see what is data engineering and what is data platform, and what are the different architectures followed in enterprise. And we will see in the course what we are going to cover in the course, what are the tools we are going to learn, and how the course will be. The course roadmap we will see, and different questions here. So we will cover the frequently asked questions we will cover here, and then roadmap, projects, the real-time projects, and question and answer. This is how the workshop is going to be. So let us first start on about Education Eclipse. So Education Eclipse, myself, I am Vale. So I have like around 16 years of experience. I'm a data architect. I work on different data systems. I started with backend engineering, then moved into data engineering. I worked on different kind of architectures. I've used AWS and then Azure both. I've used Databricks, Snowflake. I worked on different kind of data architectures. So I'll be teaching AWS data engineering. So I'll be the trainer for the AWS data engineering. So in Education Eclipse, me and Abhishek, both we do training. Abhishek does training for Azure data engineering. So we do training for Azure data engineering also. So Abhishek does the training for Azure data engineering. So Abhishek works from Germany. He's again a data engineer who works on Azure. So I have been predominantly working on AWS. I'm working on Snowflake. So I do the training for AWS, Snowflake, and Abhishek does the training for Azure. Okay, so that is what he does. So we do training for data engineering. So we have conducted many batches before, and then we trained a lot of students. So we both work. Okay, so I do consulting for US companies. So I worked previously full time. Now I'm doing consulting, and Abhishek is working full time. So we do training and we work. Both we have real time experience and we do training. Okay, so that is about ourselves and the training program. So we have different kind of training: AWS data engineering, Azure data engineering, and Snowflake with data engineering fabric. So we have different courses, and in this AWS data engineering, if you can see here, we are covering multiple AWS specific services here. Okay, and this is going to be, we'll come about the syllabus, project, everything in detail. So we are going to train you. We are going to have a small batch. We are going to take only 20 members, and we are going to work on 3 real-time projects. And we are trying to make sure that we are working on real-time projects, and we have 7-day refund policy. So as you are new to this course and new to the platform, we provide you 7-day refund policy. Okay, so you can see this web URL, and you can see the details here. So we have syllabus, we have details about the course, we have details about the feedback from our students. So we have all the details here about myself, my LinkedIn profile, everything is here. So you can go through and understand about ourselves, understand about the course and about ourselves. Okay, so next, so we are going to start on the course, and we know that what are the frequently asked questions. So we have trained multiple batches. So we are going to answer all your questions. So I am from different background. Can I learn data engineering? Or I am from different domain. Can I learn data engineering? So all your questions will be answered. So I am a fresher. Can I learn data engineering? So all the questions will be answered. So you have to wait for a few minutes. So we will answer one by one question. So we are going to answer all your questions. So I am from different tech background. I am from different field on non-technical background. Can I learn For that, we will answer all your questions. And do we need SQL or Python for this course? Do we need Python or SQL? So we need at least basic knowledge on SQL or Python. So you need basic knowledge on SQL and Python because you are doing AWS data engineering. In the data engineering, we use SQL a lot and we use Python basics. So you need to have basic knowledge on SQL or Python. Okay, so let us start the session. So I'll go to these slides. Okay, so as I said before, I have 16 plus of years of experience. You can see my LinkedIn profile. So you can call me Vale. My full name is Vale Murugan. You can call me Vale. Okay. So I have worked with multiple data platforms, especially with big data systems, Spark, data migrations, data platforms, data related architecture. Okay. So I think LinkedIn is very slow. Okay, this is my LinkedIn profile. You can go and check my profile. If you want to know more about my details, you can verify it. Okay. Okay. So let us start. So as I said, I have worked on Azure. I have worked on AWS. I have used Snowflake. I have used Databricks. I have worked on different data projects with the data platforms, designing architecture, working with different solutions. Okay, that's about myself. We will get to the section. So first we are going to start. Why cloud? What is cloud? And why AWS? So why cloud? What is the purpose of cloud? Okay, so like 10 years back, when we are working on data systems. So for data engineering, what we do, we collect the data from different sources and we use it for different kind of analysis. Okay, so we collect the data from different systems and we do analytics. That is what we do it in data analytics or data engineering. Okay, so why cloud is popular in the recent years? Why cloud is popular? So companies don't want to maintain the infrastructure. So infrastructure cost is heavy. So instead of that, they can build applications on the cloud. So it makes your provisioning easier. Provisioning is creating services easier and scalability is easier. Okay, so for company to evolve, cloud provides the option. Okay, so company has to keep working on application. They have to keep working on different systems. So for that, your cloud provides resources. They provide resources like VMs, storage, compute, network, different applications. Okay, so in cloud, you can develop different application. I can work on web application. I can work on IoT applications. I can work on mobile applications, data applications, machine learning. I can work on different applications on cloud. Okay, so let us go to AWS. I'll go to AWS. So you can see this is a AWS URL. I'm logging to AWS console. So if I have browser, I can access cloud and I can use different resources. So I am working for enterprise. The enterprise need virtual machines. So they need VMs, like they need Linux machines to run applications. They need Windows machines or Mac machine for users. So they can go to cloud like AWS and search for EC2. So EC2 is a service where you can create instances. You can go here in AWS cloud. If you want machines, you can quickly install virtual machines. So I can choose like a different kind of OS. I can choose Windows. I can choose Linux. I can choose different OS. I can choose number of machines here. You can see I can go for 10 machines. Like if I want quickly, I can create 10 machines. So this is very helpful for enterprise. For teams to work, this is going to help you because they can quickly create these machines and work on the machines. So they can quickly bring the machines and work on the machines. So cloud provides you not only VM, they provide storage, they provide network, they provide compute. Like they provide different services. So if you go to AWS, AWS has 200 plus services. You can go here, all service. You can see lot of services here. So they have compute service, like EC2 is part of compute. They have storage, like S3 for storing data. They use S3 or database. You can see some analytical service. They have analytical service. They have machine learning services. So like that, AWS provides a lot of service. So company doesn't have to work on the infrastructure. They can use the services and build their architecture. Okay, so they can use the services and quickly work on the products, work on the application. So this is going to help organizations because they need to store data. Let us say they want to store large amount of data. They can go to S3. S3 is nothing but data lake. S3 is a data lake. It's a simple storage service. They can go to buckets. They can create a bucket and store data. Okay, so in S3, you can store large volume of data. So organization has a lot of data. They want to analyze the data. It can be unstructured data, semi-structured data. It can be video files, audio files. They can store all the files here. So your S3, it is very cheaper and you can store a lot of data. So organizations don't have to depend on any other storage system. They need previously 10 years back, organization were storing into Hadoop. They were using some file storage systems. In on-premises, they were maintaining clusters. So it was difficult for organization to do it. Okay, so if you see, you can see the like evolution here. So previously, companies were in a monolithic architecture. They were using physical servers. They had data centers. Okay, they had data centers, their own data center. So the application infrastructure was a problem. So when 1980s or 1990s, companies were working on monolithic applications. Monolithic means one big product and they had their data center and they need to manage the infrastructure, which was very difficult to do. And slowly in 2000s, they worked on agile architecture. They had virtual server and application are hosted. The application were hosted on premises, on the cloud it was hosted. And 2010, company moved into DevOps like development platform, and they had microservices and they had cloud architecture. So this is how the evaluation of the application infrastructure got. So company had data centers. They have to manage the infrastructure. Now with cloud, they don't have to manage. They can go and just work on the services. If they want to store data, they can store it into S3. If they want to use database, so I want a database. I want to create a MySQL. I want to create Oracle. I want to create SQL Server. I can go to AWS. I can go to database. You can go to RDS here. So RDS is relational database service. So they provide you service. So like AWS provides lot of service. So you can create database here. You can see relational database service. That is what RDS is about. You can see here I can create MySQL. I can create SQL Server. I can create MySQL. I can create production version. So production version will have 3 instances. Or I can create development instance. Okay, so quickly I can provision like resources here. If I want database, I can create it. If I want physical like virtual machines, I can create it. If I want store data, I can store it. Okay, so you don't need to rely on physical servers. So you don't really need to rely on infrastructure. So that is the option we have. So that is how companies have evolved. Okay, so at present, more like all the companies are using cloud. They are doing development on cloud. So it's easier for company. Their cost they can manage easily. It's highly scalable. Expense is easier to manage and it's highly flexible and ease of access and quicker to manage. I can add users. I can give access. So using AWS, IAM, I can create users. In AWS, we have IAM service. I can go add all my users. I can add all the users and give permission for services. So they can access the service and use it. Okay, so I can give access to developers. I can give access to business users. I can give access to different members in our organization and they can use the service. They can use VMs. They can use S3. They can use database, like the different services in AWS. So companies don't maintain infrastructure. They are dependent on cloud. Okay, that is why. And AWS is a market leader. They are there in the cloud for more than 8 years. and they have lot of 200 plus services, and lot of companies, enterprise company use AWS. Okay, so they are the market leader. So lot of applications are already built and it is there in production, and lot of like new applications are built. Okay, so this is what cloud is about, and this is why reason why we are learning AWS cloud. Okay, so next thing, we'll go for the next section. Why data engineering and what is data engineering? Okay, so why data engineering is required in organizations and what is data engineering? So in enterprise, so we are working for, let us say I'm working for different like sector. I'm working for banking, or I'm working for healthcare or education or manufacturing. I work for retail, insurance, government, any of the sector. I need to, I have multiple business unit within the organization. Let us say manufacturing unit. Within the manufacturing unit, there are multiple business group. Okay, so for manufacturing unit, they have multiple business group. Like that retail also, within the retail, they have lot of business group. Like they have sales team, they have marketing team, they have finance team. So each team has their own applications. They use lot of applications. So in enterprise, they collect data from all these applications and then they store it in centralized place. From there only they do analytics. Okay, so the analytics can be done only by collecting data from all the systems. So let us say banking. Banking also uses like different, they have different business groups. They have again marketing team, they have customer support, they have relationship teams, they have finance team. So like they have different teams. So each team uses different applications. So from all these applications, they have to collect the data and centralize store it. Then only they can do analytics, or they can do lot of data driven solutions. Okay, they can do data driven solutions. So for that, data engineering helps like you for collecting the data from different sources, and for consumers to use, data engineering helps. So what data engineering does, it collects the data from different sources and stores into data lake, data warehouse. So in organization, they have a data platform. Okay, in data platform, they have different layers. They have storage layer. They have data lake as a storage or data warehouse as a storage. So you collect from different sources and you store the data so your consumers can use it. So your consumers can be machine learning systems, generative AI, it can be different type of consumers. Okay, so that is where data engineering plays a key role in collecting the data, building a data pipeline, storing the data into different storage systems. So we call it as data platform. So in a data platform, you can see here data sources. There are multiple data sources like OLTP system, ERP system, CRM, like flat files, IoT systems, social media. So you collect from different data sources, you store it into storage layer, you collect the data, we call it as ingestion layer. So collecting can be batch processing or streaming processing. You store into storage layer and then you allow consumers to use it. So this is how you build a data platform. So by building a data platform, you allow multiple consumers to access the data. Okay, the consumers can be machine learning teams. So in the organization, we have different teams, machine learning teams, business intelligence teams, sales teams, like different finance team, like different teams are there. They are doing dashboard, they are doing reporting, they are working on different analytical solutions. So we have analytical lot of end products. So your teams can access the data from your storage lake and they can use it. So why, like we have already database, why we need data warehouse, why we need data lake, so why we need different storage here. So in organization, we already have database. So why we need data warehouse, why we need data lake? So you are working on a web application. Let us say you are working on a web application. The web application, like it can be like a banking applications or a mobile application or a like a retail application, e-commerce application. So that kind of data, it's easier to store in RDBMS system. Okay, so OLTP system. So we are talking about OLTP system. So OLTP is online transaction processing system. So OLTP, in the OLTP system, you can store like MySQL, Oracle, SQL Server, all this thing are transactional processing system. So in the OLTP system, you can store recent data, but you cannot store large amount of data. You cannot store historical data. if you store historical data, it will it doesn't have scalability. So the problem with your database, it doesn't have scalability. So you can store 6 months of data, you can store 1 year of data. But for performing analytical operation, to perform machine learning, so I am going to use in my organization, I have dashboards, I have dashboard, I have ML team. So I have to do reporting. I have to do different kind of analytical applications. Like we have different kind of Gen AI. So we have different kind of analytical solutions. So I need historical data here. So I need companies work operating for more than 10 years, but my in OLTP, so this is OLTP system. In OLTP, let us say this is MySQL or SQL server. I can have only 1 year of data or 6 months of data. So it has a scalability problem. So if you store large amount of data, your performance will go down. So this system, it's a row level processing. So it cannot store large amount of data. So in OLTP, we cannot store large amount of data because your performance will go down and it is meant for row level processing. So you need to go for OLAP system where you can store large amount of data. So you need to go for OLAP systems. So like a data warehouse, you have to go for data warehouse or you can use data lake. Okay, so you can use data warehouse or data lakes to store large amount of data. So I can store here 10 years of data. I can store 20 years of data. I can store historical data. I can store current data and I can use it for all the use cases. Okay, so this OLAP system, so OLAP is online analytical processing system. It's meant for long running queries. And this is OLTP system. It's meant for transaction processing. So web applications, so all your web applications are going to interact with your OLTP system. It's going to interact with your OLTP system, which has the current data, whereas your analytical systems are going to talk to OLAP system. Okay, so all your analytical systems are going to talk to. So for ML, I need historical data. When building machine learning models, for model training, I need historical data. For generative AI models, for model training, I need historical data. Or for predictions, I need historical data. I need recommendation, I need historical data. So you need different type of data. So I am having multiple consumers. All these things are consumers. So they are the consumers of my data. Okay, so here web application is a producer. So this is a producer. So in enterprise, there are multiple producers and multiple consumers. So data engineering is the one which connects both the producers and then the consumers. Okay, so data engineering, we store the data and help consumers here. So in data platform, we store data into data warehouse or data lake. So we collect the data from different sources. So in enterprise, there can be 300 or 500 sources. So you're going to have lot of sources, and you're going to store the data into centralized layer, and it's going to be used by different teams. Okay, this is how in a modern data platform, you have different layers here. So we call it as data source layer, ingestion layer, storage layer, cataloging layer, processing layer, and consumption layer. So you are going to work on any of this layer. You may work on ingestion layer as a data engineer. We may work on batch processing, stream processing. We may work on data. We may work on the processing layer. So we are we collaborate with consumers, with analysts, with a machine learning team or data scientist in providing the data. So we will work with different teams and we provide the data. Okay, this is how a modern data platform is. And this is how data engineering comes into picture, where we work with producers and consumers here. And recently, there is a lot of talk about data mesh architecture. So what is data mesh architecture? Let us see quickly. So data mesh, so as I said, there are a lot of producers and a lot of consumers. So you can see we are working with data. So in organization, as I said, there are different teams. There are marketing team, sales team, different teams. Each team has their own. So in the data mesh architecture, you are decentralizing it. Instead of bringing all the data, centralizing everything to one place, having a centralized governance, having everything in data warehouse. Instead of doing that, you are decentralizing with data mesh architecture. So with data mesh architecture, you are decentralizing it. So each domain, like sales or marketing, are having their own product. They are giving the product as a solution, and they have their own data pipeline. Okay, so they are going to have their own data pipeline, and they do the governance, and they maintain the data platform. Okay, so here with the data mesh architecture, the each domain is going to have their own data platform, and they give data as a product. So when the data is given as a product, that can be used by different consumers. That data can be used for dashboard. The data can be used for ML models. That data can be used for automations, AI-driven solutions, generative AI. So your data products, so data as a product can be used for different solutions. So you are not building for solving one problem. You are generalizing it, bringing a data as a product and data as a service. So this is what we are bringing, data as a service, and that data can be used to solve different problems. So that is what data mesh architecture. In data mesh architecture, we are decentralizing it. So your teams can, multiple teams can use your data. So it's a decentralization of data platforms. So in AWS, you can create decentralized data platform architecture. So AWS provides you option to do it. So in AWS, you can build data mesh architecture. So using the services like Athena, Glue, Lake Formation, you can build decentralized data platform architecture. Okay, so in the course, we are going to discuss about all this thing, right? So what is data platform? What is data data lake, data warehouse, how data mesh works. So in data mesh, what they do, how data are stored, and how it is used by different teams. So we are going to discuss about all this thing. Okay, so far we discussed about, so what is data engineering, why data platform is required, what is data mesh. Okay, so how decentralized approach helps organizations. So data mesh is a recent architecture which companies are migrating slowly, and which will be there in next 5 to 10 years. Companies are slowly moving into data mesh architecture. So we are going to learn all this thing in the course. Okay, so in the course, we are going to learn about different AWS services. We are going to use data lake, data warehouse, and ETL. So we are going to do, as I said before, so we are going to learn OLAP system, doing data engineering on OLAP systems using data lake, data warehouse. So far we discussed about database. So we have discussed about database. We are going to store the data in data warehouse. So we have ETL tools. So we need ETL tools because data warehouse, you are collecting the stored data and storing in structured form. So here you are going to store the data in structured format. But if I get the data in unstructured form or semi-structured form, I have to extract, transform. So here I can do ETL, but I need to do ELT also, extract, load, and transfer. So I can use tools like Glue. I can use tools like Databricks. For doing ELT. Okay, so you can do ELT, you can do ETL. So we are going to learn ETL, we are going to learn ELT, and we are going to learn lakehouse, and then data mesh architecture. So we are going to learn all these things, latest architectures in the course. Okay. So in the course, let me go to the roadmap here. So if you see this, you can see the how we are covering all this thing in this course. We are starting from beginning. We are starting like how to create your AWS account. We are starting with the basics of AWS services. We are starting from IM, and you'll go to S3. So we'll start with the basic AWS services, and then slowly we will move into architecture. So we are starting with S3 IM, then move into RDS, Glue, DynamoDB, Athena, EMR, and also we are going to learn data warehouse. We are going to use Snowflake as a data warehouse. We are not going to use Redshift. Instead of that, we are going to use Snowflake. So why is Snowflake here? Why instead of Redshift? Snowflake is a heavily used data warehouse system in the current market, and it can be easily used for data mesh architecture. Okay, so already we have seen in real world, lot of company are using Snowflake for implementing data mesh architecture. So it's easier to migrate your data and implement data mesh architecture using Snowflake. So that is why we are going to use Snowflake here, and it is easier to integrate with AWS services, bring the data with AWS, and then load it with Snowflake. So we are going to use Snowflake as a data warehouse, and we are going to use Lambda and Kinesis. Lambda for server-side processing, Kinesis for streaming, and orchestration. We are going to use Airflow and step function. So we are going to use step function and Airflow, and going to use Terraform for CI/CD. So we are going to write pipelines for creating AWS services. We are going to use CI/CD pipeline. For that, we are going to use Terraform, and we are going to focus on Spark for ETL transformations. For ETL, we will be using Spark. Okay, so we are going to learn PySpark, some basics on PySpark, and then we will get into Glue. We will use Glue, and we are going to work on multiple projects here. Okay, so we are going to cover all this like different tools in the course. Okay, so as I said, in the data platform, we will be working on batch processing. We will be working on data lake, data warehouse. We'll be working on like processing transformations, building a lakehouse. So working on a lakehouse architecture. So we are going to work on lakehouse architecture, and then working on different data architectures here. We will see that also. So as I said, we are going to learn Spark. We are going to use Spark for getting the data from different source, using ETL, using Spark. So we'll use Glue. So we're going to use Glue. In this course, we are going to use Glue for cluster framework. We are not going to use Databricks. We are going to use Glue. But if you learn Spark, if you learn PySpark, you can use Glue or Databricks. That means I can run the same code. I can run the PySpark code in Glue or Databricks. So whatever the code we are developing here can be deployed in Databricks also. So that is the advantage we have. So as we are learning Spark, as we are working on ETLs, writing code using PySpark, the same code can be deployed on Databricks also. So that is the advantage we have. And we are going to work on data warehouse, like generation 1, generation 2, and generation 3, different kind of architecture. In the lakehouse, we are going to use Iceberg. Okay, so in AWS, we are going to use Iceberg. So you can build a lakehouse. Lakehouse, what is lakehouse? So if you see, data warehouse has lot of features. Data warehouse has lot of feature. Database has lot of feature. Okay, so database has a feature. Database, it's not scalable, but data lake is scalable. So data lake has a lot of features. So your lakehouse is a combination of features of data lake and data warehouse. Okay, so it's a combined feature of data warehouse and data lake. That means there are a lot of problems with data lake. There are a lot of disadvantages with data lake. That is solved in data warehouse. So if lakehouse is nothing but you are getting the future of data lake, you are getting the future of data warehouse, and you are combining both the futures.
Hi, could you please explain the data lake first?
Okay. So I think I explained data lake, right? So did you listen from the initial thing? So let me explain it again. So what is data lake? So S3 is a simple storage service. Okay. So simple storage service, S3, where we can create a bucket. We can store a lot of data. We can store structured data, semi-structured data, jar files I can store. I can store media files, video files. I can store JSON files. I can store any type of data here in S3. So this is called data lake. Data lake is nothing but your buckets where you can create folders and store different type of data. Okay, so it is very cheaper. and it is highly scalable. You can store large volume of data and it's very cheaper. Okay, so that is what data lake is about. Give me a few minutes. Let me get the slide. Okay, you can see here. So data lake. So what are the features of data lake? So it's cheaper. You can store different type of workloads. You can use it for different type of workloads. You can store different type of file format. I can store CSV data. I can store Parquet data. I can store different type of data. Okay, so that is the advantage of data lake. But what are the disadvantage? You cannot do DML. You cannot do insert update. You cannot do for a good structured data. The quality of data it not maintained because it doesn't have asset property. It doesn't have consistency. So that is the problem with the data lake. Whereas data warehouse, it's very good for structured data. It has support for asset property and it can do updates, it can do deletes, but it's not cheaper. Your data warehouse is not cheaper and you cannot use it for all the operations. Okay, so your data warehouse like Snowflake, Redshift are not cheaper, which has cost involved. So data lake, lakehouse architecture is combination of both this future. We are taking future of data lake, futures of data warehouse and building a lakehouse. So in the current scenario, company use data warehouse also, they use data lake also, they have lakehouse also. So in AWS, we use Iceberg for building lakehouse architecture. So in the course, we will learn about Iceberg, how to use Iceberg and build a lakehouse architecture we will learn. Okay, so let us go to the syllabus. So you can see the syllabus here. So this course is like a 2 months course. So it says 30 days, but we are going to have classes only 4 days a week. So Monday, Tuesday, like Thursday and Friday, 4 days in a week. So this course will go for 2 months. Okay, so like I can see day one, we are starting with AWS services. We are starting on basics. We are starting with IAM, S3, setting up local environment, working on basic AWS services, using Boto 3, working on Spark basics. So we are starting on basics, then why OLAP, why OLTP, and comparison of different things, and data frames and RDD, PySpark. We are starting with PySpark. Then slowly we are getting into AWS Glue, working on ETL, doing ETL and ELTs, everything. Then working on automations, we are using Boto 3 and then Terraform. So here itself we will be starting start to use Terraform. Okay, so initial session itself we'll start with Terraform. So when working with Glue, we will connect with RDS, DynamoDB. So we'll start on the first project. So you can see day 11, we are working on the first project. So we are going to do 3 projects here. So we are covering 3 real-time projects. So what are the projects? Let me go through the projects. So first project is a medallion, like we are collecting data from different sources like RDS, DynamoDB, S3 and storing it into Parquet format. And we are building an orchestration framework using step function and like we are building a data pipeline here, and that data will be stored in like different forms, in a raw form, processed form, and in a aggregated form. So the aggregated form can be used by consumers. So here consumers are going to be like dashboards, they are going to access the data and use it for consumers. So we are going to use Glue catalog to store the data, and the catalogs can be used by users. So this is the first project. So here we are going to use retail scenario. So we are going to use retail scenario, retail data. So data will be stored in RDS, DynamoDB. We are going to collect the data and use it. So this is the first project. So you can see in the day 11, we are starting on first project and we will complete the first project in few days. Okay, so we are working on the concept also. We are working on the projects also. So we are combining both and learning both. And you can see we are learning RDS, Glue connections, workflow orchestration, working on CTE, working on complex scenarios, Git integrations, working with CI/CD, working on Git integration. So we are covering on the first project lot of basic things. So we are working on batch processing, and we are covering on the basic deployment. We are understanding release process here. So working with GitHub integration. So all this thing we are understanding in first project. So after that, we are starting on the advanced thing. So we are looking into Spark optimizations, performance tuning, the advanced concepts. Then working on Lakehouse architecture, Iceberg open table format. So we are learning Iceberg, and we are bringing in data warehouse features. We will learn how to use fact table, dimension tables, working on dimensioning modeling. So we're bringing in data warehouse feature into data lake. So by using Lakehouse architecture, we are going to use data lake. On top of data lake, we will build the data warehouse future. So that we will see in day 18, day 19. Then we will start working on AWS services like EventBridge, Lambda, step function. So we'll use step function for orchestration. We will work on Lambda, EventBridge. So Lambda for server-side integrations, EventBridge for event-driven applications. We will use AWS transfer family. We will use SNS for notifications. So here we are going to learn different AWS services. So we are going to learn event-driven solutions here, and we will use step functions. We will use Lambda, SNS, EventBridge. So that is what we will learn, and then we will start working on the second project. So in the second project, we are going to build a medallion architecture. We are collecting data from ERP systems. So you mark data of ERP systems, the bulk data coming in CSV format, and we are going to do a incremental processing. So here in the first project, we have seen full load. We are doing batch processing and full load here. In the second project, we are going to do incremental processing, and we will learn about bookmarking, custom bookmarking, glue bookmarking, how to use, so you can process your incremental data. So we will learn about that. And we use here storing the data into Lakehouse, and also we will store the data into Snowflake here. So the aggregated data will be stored in Lakehouse. It will be stored in Snowflake. So here we are going to use Lakehouse also. We will store the data into Iceberg table in Lakehouse also, into Snowflake also. So in the second project, we will learn about data warehouse. We will learn about Lakehouse architecture, and we will learn advanced concepts like incremental processing of data. We will learn about event-driven system, alert mechanisms, like working with different AWS service, working on catalogs. So we will learn about a lot of service here. So that is the second project. And if you go next, then we are starting on Snowflake. We are learning about Snowflake, Snowflake architecture, like using Snowflake basic features like stage, creating tables, working on batch processing, then streaming. So we are going to start on streaming, and we are working on a streaming architecture. So we are learning Snowflake, and we are building a streaming pipeline. For that, we use Kinesis. We are going to use Kinesis, AWS Kinesis, and AWS Firehouse integrated with Snowflake. Okay, so we will use AWS Kinesis and AWS Firehouse for integration of your streaming pipeline, and we are going to build the third projects. Okay, so this is the three projects we are going to use. The third project, so we will use a streaming pipeline. So we are going to collect the data. The data is produced by streaming applications, and Kinesis is going to, it's a messaging service which collects the data and send to Snowflake. In Snowflake, we are going to build a streaming live pipeline, which is going to process your data immediately. So in next 5 minutes, I can see my dashboards. I can see the output. So we are building a streaming pipeline, streaming data pipeline, and there we are going to build again medallion architecture. Okay, within the Snowflake, we are going to build bronze, silver, gold, and within the data warehouse, streaming architecture we are going to build. So this is the third project. So we are covering batch processing, we are covering event-driven processing, and we are covering stream processing also. Okay. So in the course, we are learning about data lake, data warehouse, lakehouse architecture, and how we will discuss about how data mesh architecture is used, how it is built. So we will discuss about different architecture also. So this is what we are going to discuss in the course. Okay, so we have covered the syllabus. So we have seen the roadmap. We are covering 3 projects and we are covering multiple AWS services. So next is, you have seen the roadmap, you have seen the course and then project syllabus, where to practice. Okay, so will practice on AWS account. You can create a free tier account for AWS. Okay, so you can use that, and I will tell you how you can optimize that. That means how you can save the cloud cost. I will tell you the techniques to avoid the cloud cost here in AWS cloud. Okay, that I will tell you. And we will use Snowflake free trial version. Okay, so Snowflake, we have 30 days version, or you can have 120 days trial version of Snowflake. We will use that for development. And also for Spark, for working on Spark, we will use local environment. So in the local, using Docker, we can set up local environment for Spark, Airflow. We will set up a local environment and work on local. So you can avoid cloud cost. Okay, so there are multiple ways to avoid the cloud cost. So ETL pipeline, you can use Glue. So by using Glue, you can scale. So the advantage here is I can work on Spark in my local. I can develop it in local. After development is completed, I can come here, deploy it and then scale. I can run it on 5 machines. I can run it on 10 machines. So I can scale. So in the cloud, I can select the machines, what type of machines I want. I can give the number of workers. So dynamically I can scale. So that is what we will learn. We will learn how to run Spark in the local environment also. We will learn how to run Spark in the cluster also. In the Glue cluster, we will learn. Okay, so this is what we will be covering in the course. Okay, so we will be practicing on AWS free tier account or on Snowflake free tier account and then local Jupyter notebook. Okay, so we'll be working on all this environment. We'll be practicing on this. Okay, now you can ask your questions. You can unmute yourself and ask your questions.
Hello, I have a
Hi, Will.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I have one quick question. So
Yeah.
here we have discussed about the Snowflake and as well as Redshift. So is it mandatory to go through this Redshift and Snowflake on both side, or
So
can't we?
if you learn one data warehouse tool, it's easier to understand other. So if you work on Snowflake or Redshift, it's easy to work on other two. Okay, because we'll be working on creating dimensional modeling. We'll be creating fact tables, dimension tables, and we'll work on OLAP queries. So if you learn Redshift, you're going to learn Snowflake easier. So why we are learning Snowflake? Because it's easier to work on lot of enterprise grade features. So data masking is easier, data sharing is easier, and building a data mesh architecture is very easier with Snowflake. So that is why in the course we are using Snowflake.
Yeah. I have noticed that even in Azure on Databricks, everywhere the Snowflake is coming in.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
just
So like a lot of companies have already moved. Already they are using Snowflake for data warehouse, and they are using because you can easily convert your data from your cloud, from your data lake. You can move it to Snowflake easily, and you can give consumer access easily. So for consumer, it's easier to access Snowflake, and Snowflake is faster in SQL. So for consumer, it's going to be helpful. For running SQL, Snowflake is going to be faster than Redshift, and for consumer, it's going to help them easily. The only problem is cost. The cost is the problem, but when they are working on new products, when they are doing some innovations, they are not worried about cost. So they are going Snowflake. Then later they will migrate it to Redshift.
okay.
Okay, so if you learn Snowflake, it's easier to use Redshift. We will
Yeah,
learn a lot of advanced future. So it's easier for you to adapt to Redshift also.
got it. Yeah, got it. So for that, we can straight up here learn Snowflake data engineering, right? Like, that's what my actually I'm in dilemma to build switch between this AWS and
So the
Snowflake.
thing is, if you have already, if you know data engineering principles, if you want to be a data engineer, then like if you are more into SQL side, and if you are more into like working on data side, on the consumer perspective, then you can go for data warehouse. If you are more interested on ETL transformation, working on SQL engineering side, then you have to go for data engineering. Okay, in the Snowflake course, we teach about Snowflake, how to use Snowflake for transformations, how to build data mesh architecture, how to use orchestration. So we teach about using Snowflake and using Snowflake as a data platform. Okay, so if you're into a cloud, if you are looking into cloud specific, you should focus on AWS data.
Got it. Yeah, got it. Thanks, Will.
Hi, Will. This is Anil.
Yeah, yeah.
So you said we should be developing a PySpark code in the Jupyter notebook, then deploying onto the AWS, right?
Yeah.
So why can't we develop a PySpark in AWS itself rather than downloading a Jupyter notebook and developing there?
Yeah, so the problem is if I show glue here, right? So let me show both glue and Databricks. Let me log into Databricks. I'll say the difficult part with development. So what are the problems when you're developing, right? So what are the problems you will face? Why companies use notebooks for development? Well, let me log into Databricks also. So I'm logging my local, I'm starting my Docker, so I can show my local environment. So I'm showing everything. So we'll see everything and compare it. So I'm going to Glue. So in Glue, I can create ETL jobs. I can create PySpark code. I can write my logics here. So for example, I'm reading from MySQL and loading to Snowflake. So I'm writing a logic. So you can see the logic here. So this is not easy to debug. Okay, I commit any errors, right? If I run it, I will know after 1 minute only. So this will run for 1 minute, then it will throw compile error. So it's not easy to develop it. Okay, so this is a script editor. You can see the script editor. It doesn't show errors. Okay, it doesn't show errors, and to run it and then to development is very difficult. So if I save this and run it, it's going to use your cloud and you will be charged for that. So if you are using Glue, even though you are using free tier, Glue is not free. Okay, so Glue is not free. You will be charged here. You can see here for running any jobs, I am charged like 0.03 DPU per hour. So I'm charged here, and that is the charge, the cloud charge is one thing, which is not a problem when you're working on enterprise. The other thing, major problem is debugging, understanding the failure of code, running multiple times is difficult. To development activity is very difficult to do. That is why if you develop it in notebook, it's easier. So if you see Databricks,
Okay,
right?
okay.
So I'm open Databricks here. So in Databricks, how we do development? We have notebooks. I can run my code one by one in notebooks. So it's easier to develop. So same way in my local, I'm opening Jupyter Notebook and I can work on all the Spark logics. I can use the data from database. I can access data warehouse. So for running anything here, I'm not charged. Okay, so this has become free because this Spark is using my CPU, my local CPU and RAM. So I'm running it free of cost. That is one thing. So I can learn here. I can see all the errors here. So if I run this, if this is going to fail, it will throw error immediately. So I'm not going to have any delay. So for development, it is easier. I can run step by step and see the failure and fix it. So for development, this is easier way of learning. So once you complete the development, then you can go and deploy it in the cloud. Once you are comfortable doing development, then you can go and deploy here and run it. So that is why when starting, we are going to start here and then run basic code, understand the basic code, then run some projects, understand the projects, then at last come and deploy it in Glue and run it from Glue. So at last we are going to do orchestration and we are going to run the workflow. integrated with step function or using glue. When we are going to do that, the jobs is going to run on glue. So when you are going to work on the projects, so you can see your SEM workflow, where if you see the project here, so we have called Lambda, we have called glue, we have called multiple glue jobs, we have sent email using Lambda. So we are doing a orchestration here using step function. We have called multiple glue jobs. So this thing, initially, if you start, it's going to be difficult for you for debugging, for handling the errors. It's difficult. That is why we are doing local development. Once we start the local development, you will become comfortable with the Spark code. Writing PySpark code, you will become comfortable. Then go for cloud. Then use the glue environment.
Got it. And I have one more question. So
Yeah.
both AWS and Snowflake are your URL based applications, right? And I'm using my office laptop, then I shouldn't be having any problem using them because they are a URL based applications.
Yeah, yeah, it should be not be a problem. So it should not be a problem.
Yeah, and for AWS and Snowflake, you said we can create a free accounts. And what is the validity for those free accounts?
AWS, they provide you 6 months. It's about your usage, right? So like they don't charge you if you don't use it. They provide some free services for 6 months. Like S3, they provide you comes credits, and you can easily like for example, I'll go to my AWS. I can see my utilization. So for example, I'll go here. I can go to Cost Explorer. And then see how much I utilized. In the free tier, how much I utilized, how much my bill, I can see it. Okay, if you see for the past 7 days, I used $1.84. I've run some few service. I run Glue, I run Kinesis, I used S3 for the past 7 days. I can see for past 1 day, what was my usage. Okay, you can see 0.01. So I've used only glue. Okay, so I can see here, I can measure it, how much my billing is going to come. And I can also see free tier usage. So I can see if my free tier is utilized or still I have. So my S3 is already utilized. You can see I used S3 100%. But step function is still free. DynamoDB is free. I've underutilized all this thing. Okay, so this you can easily use it. So your 6 month free tier plan is sufficient to use it. So you're not going to be charged a lot of money here for AWS. With Snowflake, you will create a you can create a student account, or you can create a free tier account for 30 days. You can the Gmail ID can create it. After 30 days, you can create one more account. So that is how we will use Snowflake.
Okay, so AWS is valid till 6 months. So what if we practice it for 6 months and still, looking for a job, and whatever projects we practiced in our account, so that gets deactivated after 6 months, right? So
No, it will not get deactivated. You will still be able to access all the old resources. You cannot do new thing. You cannot do it. Okay, so also we are going to have all the code in local. So we are going to have all the code in local. So you will all the resources, you have the resources in local. So it's easier to deploy it in any account and use it. Okay, so it's easier to work on different account and use it. You can create one more free tier account and work on the code.
Can we publish it into our Git account, our personal GitHub?
Yeah, you can use it. You can have it in Git account. So we are going to write Terraform code. So that Terraform, you can use it in different AWS account. So that code, you can deploy it in using Terraform only. We will create resources like RDS we will create, Glue we will create. So that you can easily deploy it in another account and create. Or you can commit it to GitHub, and GitHub also can use it.
okay, so one last question from my end. I will last one. So you said we should know Python and SQL basics, right? So
Yeah.
so I have learned Python a long time back, and I would like to brush up my concepts. So which concepts do you recommend me to brush up before joining this course, so that this course will be easy for me?
So you need to know basics about Python. So like we are going to write some basic Python code. So you need to know how to call methods, how to use functions. We are going to write some basic variables. Let me show what are the topics you have to prepare on Python. So you can refresh on this topic. Okay, like variable, constants, typecasting, functions, using models, packages, exception handling, collections, while loop, all this. So these are the basics, right? So this basics alone you can refresh.
Okay, thank you. Thanks. That's all from my end.
Okay, any
Hi, Will.
questions from anyone? Yeah.
Hi, Will.
Hi.
Uh,
Yeah.
that's in a, what I'd like to ask is that's in a typical environment, that is in a corporate flow. If they're handling a project which contains multiple or a huge amount of data, and when we build some processing tool like using these all services and infrastructure you mentioned, what is our end-to-end line should be? That is, there should be a lower environment, as you mentioned. That is, we'll be developing and testing things in our local, and then we'll be moving the things to the production or the corresponding cloud providers. So,
Yeah.
usually, what way or what kind of process? I mean, the big corporates usually follow for their clients.
Okay. So as I said, we will be using Terraform, right? So Terraform, what it does, you are going to write infrastructure code. Okay. So by using Terraform, we are going to write infrastructure as a code. That means I'll open the Terraform script. We'll get a good understanding on that.
Okay.
So for creating S3 buckets or creating like glue workflows, we can write configurations. Okay, I can write the configurations. This configuration for creating glue, RDS, I can run it on any AWS account. It can be dev, it can be stage, prod, production. So we have multiple environments. So yeah, I'll develop this on dev. I will test it on dev. If this is good, I can take this configurations. So this is a YML like configurations and deploy this Terraform on stage QA. If it is good there, then I can deploy it in production. So that is the process we follow it in the enterprise also. Okay, so in the organization also, this is the same process we do. So we don't do it everything from UI. So if I'm doing from UI, so if I go and create ETLs, create resources from UI, the problem is I will not have production access in other environments. Okay, so you need to write like create resources using configurations. So that is why we learn Terraform here and we create services using Terraform. So it can be deployed on multiple environments. So is it clear?
Yes, absolutely. That's well.
So we can do Boto 3. So we can do automation using Boto 3 or you can write Terraform. Okay, so in Terraform, we create a configuration files and we write the configurations for creating resources. It can be S3, creating glue or creating RDS, network connections, subnet, all the configurations are defined here. So this configuration, so if I go to dev here, you can see all my configurations are. So I can change this configuration. I can change it to different region, different account, deploy the same, create the resources again. So if I do it in one environment on dev, I can run the same in the other environment and automate this data pipeline easily. So this is how we follow it in enterprise also, same thing we are doing.
And also, where do we people store this Terraform code usually? In the GitHub or any version control system? Can they store securely?
You are going to run only in the time of creation, right? You are not going to run daily, right? So this is only
Yes.
when the time of creation you are going to. So we don't have to like you can maintain it in the DevOps GitHub pipeline. Okay, in DevOps GitHub pipeline you have to maintain this code. So it will be pushed in GitHub. It will be maintained in the DevOps. So for releases, if you are going to change the infrastructure, you will do the changes in Terraform and push it. Otherwise, you are not going to change it. Once the infrastructure is
Also,
created, you are going to run it regularly. So you are not going to change the Terraform code daily.
that is what I meant is into the same configuration we might be passing what can I say, the secret credentials or the confidential credentials like AWS
That
account ID or
that you are
something.
not going to maintain in Terraform. That you will maintain in Secret Manager. The configuration will be out of. This is more of infrastructure creation. So infrastructure
Oh,
creation will be done here, and all your
hmm.
credentials will be there in securely in secure vault. Like we'll use Secret Manager, AWS Secret Manager for storing it.
Okay, got it, got it. Thanks, Will.
Okay, so let us quickly go and cover the rest of the topic. Then we will come for questions. So I'll cover the rest of sections and then we will come for the topic. So we have a platform, learning portal. So in the learning portal, you can see this. So you will be given full access to that. Okay, so where you can see the recordings. So if you are joining the course, you will be given access to this, and you can see the recording here. You can access the recording and the assets will be added. So the files, whatever I'm sharing it, the contents will be added. So you can see the classes here. So we are giving some lab assignments, working on projects, sharing the assets, and the videos are here. So you can watch the recording. And also at last, we are providing you resume templates. We are providing you interview preparation questions, data sets. So a lot of scenario questions and answers. So everything will be given it in the course. So we are going to have, so let me go to the other slide. So we are trying to cover, so by this course, we are trying to cover 3 to 4 years of experience by working on 3 projects. We are trying to cover like 3 projects, which is like 1 year, 1.5 year, and we are trying to cover like 3 to 4 years of experience. You will be taught like different tools here, like ETL tools, Glue, Spark. You are going to learn RDS, DynamoDB, Athena, Snowflake, Data Warehouse. You're going to learn Medallion architecture, Lakehouse, data mesh architecture. You're going to learn like all these things in this course, and you can go for AWS certifications because we are teaching a lot of things for the AWS certifications also for that, and you can go for Snow Pro certification also because we are covering basics about Snowflake and about Snowspark also. We are covering a little bit on that, and the prerequisite for this course is like basic SQL and Python. So we are starting 2 batches. So we are starting 2 batches. One is morning batch, another is evening batch. So morning batch, we are starting on September 19th, and evening batch, we are starting on 26th September. So morning batch, the timing is 9 a.m. It will go till 10:30. So it may be 1 hour and last 30 minutes for question and answer. So normally it take 1.5 hours. Okay, so evening sessions, 7:30 to 9 p.m. So we are providing like a morning session and evening session. Morning is 9 a.m. to 10:30, 1.5 hour. And evening is 7:30 to 9 p.m. So this is the timing, and this is the and we are having sessions on Monday, Tuesday. So we don't have classes on Wednesday and Thursday and Friday. So 4 days in a week. So the morning batch starts on September 19th. Okay, so if you are interested for this course, I will provide the link. So you have to pay first 10,000. You today we have an offer that is valid till end of the today. That means you for today's demo, it will be like 17,000. You don't have to pay 20,000. We are providing discount for today, and that is valid till end of the today. So that is, you are going to pay totally 17,000, and today you have to pay 10,000, and remaining after the batch starts. Okay, so I'm going to share the link. You can see the URL and then do the payment. So this is for the live course. The live course starts on September 19th, and the evening batch starts on September 26th. Okay, and we have recording also. We are offering recording. So for recording, we charge 8,999, the original price. And for today, the offer is 799. So for this also, it is valid till today end of the day. So this is about the pricing, and this is about the batch timing. So let me quickly share the URL. Okay. So this is about the course fee, and this is about the timing of the batches. Okay, so I showed the learning platform. So we have seen the learning platform, and then let me go. So let us search for AWS data engineering jobs. Okay, I'm searching for AWS data engineering jobs. I'll search for specific location. Any location. So you can see here. So when we search for AWS data engineering, so there are a lot of openings are there. And always for any AWS data engineering jobs, the requests are learning glue, EMR, S3. So Redshift, they are asking for Redshift. So we are learning Snowflake here. So any data warehouse is fine. And so you can see the requirement here. So they are asking familiarize with CI/CD pipeline using Terraform. So we are covering most of the scenario here. Okay, so we are trying to cover for the job requirements. So this course is designed specifically for the job requirements. So if you search for your area, you will see a lot of job openings, and you can see for AWS data engineering how many jobs are there, and you can see the technical skill set and what we are covering, and how much the openings are there, and how close we are matching with the availability of job. Okay, so this course we are designed based on our experience in the latest market, which are the trending skills. Based on this course is designed. So we have a lot of things specifically on the job market and which are trending in the current organization, which are implemented. Based on that we have designed. Okay, so this course will be sufficient for you to learn the latest skills on AWS data engineering. Okay, so far we have covered all the sections. So any questions from anyone? You can ask the questions now.
Well, who can use the recordings? You have a separate price for recordings, right?
Yeah, so if you are not able to join this time, right? So if your timing is not convenient for you, so the recording, what we do is we will provide you either previously recorded sessions. So if you want previously recorded session, we will share that, or we can get access to the current recording ones. Okay, so the recording means you will get access to this portal and you can access this video and get the contents. And we have a WhatsApp group. If you have questions, you can ask them. Okay, so you can message me in WhatsApp for setting up environments or having issues. You can reach me out. So if this timing is not feasible for you, you can go for recording.
Okay, so say for instance, I joined in the morning batch and I am not able to attend a session on Tuesday. Okay, so without paying that a fees for recording, can't I get the recording link?
No, you for the live course also, whoever
Okay,
is having access to live course, they will get the recording by default.
okay,
So
got it.
okay, so you will have access to the recording. You can see the recording. So after every sessions, the video will be uploaded. All the contents will be uploaded here. You can see all the files will be attached. All the demo files will be attached. Projects will be attached. Everything will be here.
Okay, so how long we have access to this portal? Like,
It's a lifelong, but at least for 3 years or 4 years. It is a lifelong access.
okay, thanks.
So we'll have access only to our recorded session, or we can access the previous as well if we have to, do some preparation before, starting the next.
So if you want for previous session, we will provide you for previous session also. And then later, if you want, you can give for the current session. That we will change it also. So like each sessions, I keep updating. Okay, so if you see from the previous session and the current session, there will be few topics added. For example, I'll go for previous batch. You can see here I don't use Terraform. Okay, so in the I think June batch or March batch, we are not using Terraform. But in the latest batch, we added Terraform, and we did added so I keep adding a lot of things to the existing course. So if you want, you can get access to the current batch, the live course, or you can go for the old one. So you will get access to the old one. but the latest one will have updated content.
So when are the mock interviews conducted? Like once after the course is finished?
Yeah, after
or-
the course is completed, we will review your resume. So you can provide your resume. We'll give templates. We'll share templates, resume templates, and we'll share the project description, everything. So we will go through your resume, provide feedbacks, and if you are available, whenever you are available, after your preparation, you can let us know. So they will have mock interviews. You will have 2 to 3 mock interviews. So we will help you for preparing that, and then from our team, like a few of our guys will have a interview sessions, which will be something related to the similar real world mock interviews.
Okay. And also, like throughout this course, we'll be practicing on cloud only. So there's no prerequisites for the laptop we are using. Like it should be Mac OS or Windows OS. There's no
You can use any OS, but it should be latest one. So for example, running this Docker, right? So running your local environment on Docker. So that Docker should be installed on your local. So for that, older version of Windows will not work. So you need to have something latest configuration. So at least 8 GB of RAM. Some latest Windows 10 is fine. I think Windows 10, 11 is fine. So it should have at least decent configurations, because Docker will not work on older versions. So we have local development setup. Go ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt. What is this Docker?
So for quicker setting of environment, right? So we are going to set up local environment, Jupyter Notebook. So for Spark, learning ETL, you can run it on cloud, can do local development. So we are using Docker, we are using Glue Docker container, we are running it here. So I can install. Docker is it's a virtual OS. It provides you virtual OS. So I can install software quickly here. So I can install Jupyter Notebook. I can install Spark. I can install Airflow. I can install different softwares required for us quickly in using one line of command. So it's a quicker way of installation. So you can go and quickly install it without running multiple steps, without doing multiple configuration. You can quickly install. That is what Docker is used. It's a container framework. Okay, so using that for development we are using. So we'll quickly start the containers and access the application.
Okay, so will we be getting like a list of instructions on?
Yeah. The instruction will be provided. Installation instruction will be provided, and I'll help you for the installations. If you have issues, I will help you on that also.
Okay, great. Thank you.
So Apache Airflow, right, and this Terraform.
Yeah.
Are you going to explain us in detail, because it has it's not just it has many things, right? So in interview they may ask different scenario questions, right, based on that. How
So Terraform, we are going to see basic ones. Like Terraform, it's mostly used by DevOps guys. Okay, so we are
Right.
not going to get deeper into Terraform. So we are not going to do all the resource creation using Terraform. For data engineering, what are the resources are required? That is what we are going to create using Terraform. So using Terraform, I may create Glue, I may create S3 buckets, I may create RDS. So that is basic thing is enough for data engineers. So that alone we will be using Terraform. And Airflow for orchestration. So I have Snowflake data warehouse. I have AWS services like Lambda. I have services like Athena. I have Glue. I have to orchestrate this everything. So I can do orchestration using step function. So the same flow I can orchestrate using Airflow. So we are going to write using Python. So here we are doing it from configuration, JSON configuration. So step function we use JSON configuration. With the Airflow we write Python code. So
Right.
we are going to learn that. So we are going to write orchestration and schedule it and run it using Airflow. That is what we will do.
Okay. Okay. So we're going to write that script
Yeah.
from scratch using Python.
Yeah,
Right?
script. Yes, using Python.
Okay. And what about the CI/CD pipeline you mentioned, right? So are we going to create the pipeline with any external? Which tool we are going to use?
So we are going to use GitHub CI/CD GitHub Actions for deployment. Okay, so
Okay.
we'll use GitHub Actions for deploying the code. Okay, so let me show the GitHub here. So that is a easier way. So I can. So I have to log in. So it's fine. So I'll show it in a different one. So the thing is, we will use GitHub Actions for doing CI/CD pipeline. So using that, I can deploy my wheel file. I can deploy my glue jobs and run it in run my projects, run my ETL operations, or do release activity using that. So for data engineering, how release activity is done, I'll show with the GitHub integration. That is what we will see. We will use GitHub Actions here. We will use the GitHub Actions for continuous integration and continuous deployment. And we will write unit test case and we will run our unit test case using the integrated fashion.
Okay.
Hi, Velumurugan. Just general question.
Yeah.
So, what is the current market trend for AWS data engineering versus Azure data engineering?
Both has like a good market, and if you are in US, AWS has good market. If you are in Europe, Azure has good market. So if you are working with US clients, AWS is like heavily used. So if you are working with Europe clients, at present Azure has good market in Europe. Okay, but in India, both has, because we do outsourcing, right? We are working with clients, right? So we have both markets, and you can search in your city what are the openings are there for Azure, what are the openings for AWS. In India, I think both has a lot of openings for, and AWS always has an edge, because AWS is the with all the data engineering with the cloud, they are the market leader, so they always have an edge over Azure.
Okay, because right, if you see in overseas like Singapore or if you see overseas market, AWS is leading, but in India market, I think Azure has the edge, I guess. Let's see.
It's about the region, about the clients you work, so about sector you work, it varies.
Okay,
We cannot say that like we cannot say that Azure or AWS are capturing the market, right? Both has equal opportunity. That is what I will say.
So I just joined now, just joined 10 minutes back. So so you're telling about something like AWS Glue is like a orchestration tool or something?
AWS Glue is for ETL or ELT. It's a ETL tool using Python code, using distributed computing. You can process huge amount of data.
Okay, fine. It's like ETL tool, right?
Yeah, it's an ETL tool where you write Python code. By writing code, you do the transformations.
So Python is mandatory anyway. Spark or Snowpark you will use, or how it is?
If you know Python, it's easier to learn Spark. In the course, we are going to learn Spark from basics.
There are different variations like PySpark, Snowpark.
Scala Spark. So initially, Spark was written in Scala. Spark native is written in Scala. Then they started using Python. So with Python, Spark is called PySpark. But
Okay.
normal default one is with Scala. So like a Spark, you can run Scala code, Python code, Java code. You can run R, different language of. So that is why they call it as PySpark, because you can write code in Python and execute it.
Okay, fine. Yeah. Okay, fine.
Okay.
Well, I have one question.
Yeah.
AWS and Azure both have many components and have major capabilities. But nowadays, we are seeing that Databricks is very famous and highly utilized. So, any specific reason why it has been used?
Which one we are asking? AWS?
No. He is asking about
Databricks.
Databricks.
Okay. So, companies use you can use Glue, EMR if you are in AWS. If you are in Azure, so Azure did not have their own data platform. So they did not have like a EMR. They had like a HD Insight, something similar to EMR, but they started integrating Databricks and called Azure Databricks. So they used for ETL for writings, like Databricks are the founders of Spark. So they are the one who started Apache Spark. They are the one. Even Databricks started with Spark, and then they started implementing machine learning systems, generative AI system. At present, Databricks has lot of solutions. It's not only ETL or Spark, right? They have machine learning. They have ML libs also. They have generative AI also. So using Databricks, your teams can work on data engineering problems, data science problem, generative AI problems. So it becomes a data platform. So companies who are looking into solving multiple problems, they can go for Databricks. If you are going to AWS, for ETL, you will use Glue. For data science, you will use SageMaker. For
Yes.
generative AI, you use Bedrock. So you need to go for different services. In Databricks, you have everything as a one plan. So that is the difference. But you need to buy Databricks license. If some company go for license and then they buy it. Few company they continue to use AWS services. They use all the services like SageMaker, Bedrock, Glue, EMR. They use it. They don't go for a Databricks license.
Okay.
Okay.
But Azure also have Azure Data Factory as a ETL, right?
Azure Databricks, again Databricks. Databricks
No,
can,
Azure Data Factory.
yeah, Azure
It has
Data
Azure
Factory.
Data Factory.
Yeah, so your Databricks is there long back. ADF came in between. So ADF is a UI based element. You cannot use it for
Okay.
complex transformations. So when you are working for industry, when you are working for enterprise, you are going to write complex transformations. So that you cannot do it in ADF. In ADF, you can do simple drag and drop, simple ingestion you can do. For ingestion, I can use it. I can use it in the get the data and then load it into data lake or data warehouse. I can do it with ADF. But if you have to do complex transformations, if you have to build business logics, if you have to transform the data in different forms, then you have to go for Azure Databricks in
So,
Azure.
so like Databricks has to be used as a lake house, right? So in AWS, it should be Redshift equivalent to that.
Lake house is nothing but on top of data lake, you are
Yeah.
adding a jar. Okay, so in Azure, in Databricks, they call it as Delta Lake. So if you see here, so okay, you can see here Delta Lake. Okay, so Delta Lake is a library which you add it into the data lake and you can write the data. Instead of data warehouse, I can store my dimension data, fact data into your data lake itself. In AWS, we use Iceberg. So instead of Delta Lake, we use Iceberg jar files. It's an open table format. So this we call it as open table format. So in data lake, I can specify my table specification, open table format specifications, and store metadata here. Along with the data, we're going to store metadata with the open table format. So that is what we do it in Delta Lake also. In Databricks also we do the same. We use Delta Lake jar files and we give the metadata along with the data. Same thing we do it in Iceberg. So in AWS, they support Iceberg, then using Delta Lake. For Lakehouse architecture, you can use Delta Lake or Iceberg, any of this open table format.
Okay. Thanks. Thank you very much.
Yeah, go ahead. What was the question?
Yeah. Hi, Will. This is Saming here. My question is actually from an interview point of view.
Yeah.
I've watched this your demo session, everything, and here we'll be equipped with Snowflake and AWS basically. So
Yeah.
if I go to an interview, then there will be I could expect some questions about big data also, right? Like cloud technologies before going on premises to cloud. Uh, I could be I could be having those questions like on HDFS, YARN, and all these things. And should we be equipped with that knowledge also? And
No, it's not required. It's not
No,
required. You
it's
don't
not
have to
required.
go in depth on that, but high level, you will see comparison. So while I'm explaining, right? So in interview scenarios, I'll explain
Yeah.
for migration of on-premises, old system to new system, how we do it. So I'll explain that. That is enough for you. You can tell them you have not worked on that, but you have a knowledge on that. So you have knowledge. This is how we can do it. We can migrate the old system to new system. This is how we can do it. I have a knowledge on that, but I have not worked, you can say, to the interview. Okay, but it is easier to do it. I'll explain you when covering the sessions. I'll be explaining that also.
Okay, again, the same question scenario is with file formats. Should we have knowledge about words and should we have in-depth knowledge about Airflow because we will be doing that orchestration in Airflow itself, right? Airflow and Apache Airflow and Glue, I guess. So
Yeah.
should we have that information about this? I mean, in-depth information about Airflow because Airflow is
No,
something.
it's not required. You need to have basic knowledge in Python. You can see here I'm sharing the Python Airflow code here. I'm writing DAGs here. I need Python knowledge here. So I need basics of Python knowledge. So I can write DAG here. I can write my workflow. I can orchestrate it. So I can create a ETL pipeline. I can orchestrate here, work with Snowflake, work with AWS services. I can easily create my. So I need to know basic Python. Okay, so if
So
you have
we
knowledge in
should
Python,
have somewhat knowledge about, it would be helpful, right? About DAX, task, XCOM.
yeah,
and
if you
all.
have knowledge, it will be helpful. If you don't have also, if you learn Python, it's easier to do it.
Okay. Thank you, John. Thank
I
you.
will.
That's all from my end. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, one brief question. So
Yeah.
it would be lost. So you have said about this Airflow. It is a orchestration tool. So basically, can you let me know difference between this Airflow and the Glue things? Glue is for transformation, I know.
So Glue has a workflow manager. So Glue has a job like a workflow scheduler. So if you want to schedule ETL jobs, I want to schedule only my ETL jobs. I have multiple ETLs. I think I logged out. So
Okay.
I have to schedule only my ETL jobs. Then I can go for Glue workflow manager. I have to schedule Glue, Lambda, SNS. I have integration of multiple AWS. Then I can go for step function. But I
Got it.
have another use case where I have multiple teams. One team is using machine learning functionality. Other team is using Snowflake. Another team is using AWS cloud. They are using Glue. So I have to combine all this thing. Then I will go for Airflow. So Airflow helps you to easily. It's a Python based code. So you can work with cloud. You can work with Python framework. You can work with other cloud. I can use Azure here. I can work with other platforms here like SaaS products like Snowflake or Salesforce. I can easily work with multiple things. Okay, so Airflow, you can easily write code and orchestrate with multiple services. Step function only for AWS services. Glue job like Glue workflow manager only for Glue jobs, ETL jobs. So that is the difference.
Okay. Here, where the PySpark comes in, well, here actually.
For transformations.
For
So
transformation.
yeah, so when we discussed initially, you can see here we have discussed about ingestion layer,
Correct.
processing layer. So in the ingestion layer also you can use Spark for collecting the data, storing into data warehouse or data lake. In the processing layer also you can use Spark. That means taking the data from data lake, loading into data warehouse, or taking the data into transforming it to different formats, storing again to data lake or data lake house architecture. For that, so you can use Spark. In the ingestion layer or in the processing layer, you can use Spark.
Okay, got it. And one question is, can you please let me know that what's the market trend of this Snowflake data engineering AWS? Because previously I thought I would join in this Snowflake data engineering, but I was confused whether this PySpark things would come in Snowflake or not.
Yeah, you can call me. We will understand your requirements and then I'll tell you which to go for. So we need to analyze what background you are from and what is your goal is for the future, right? So based on that, we will identify and you will see whether you are suitable for Azure data, like AWS data engineering or Snowflake data engineering. We'll plan about that. You can call us, you can see the number. I have shared the number. You can call our support team and then you can get the number or you can contact me directly.
Hello,
Yeah, sure.
Velmurugan. You're also as part of this course, you're also covering Snowflake data engineering. Snowflake, right?
We are covering Snowflake on particular aspect. That means storing the data into data warehouse and using for streaming. So we are covering
Okay.
basic thing. We are not getting into deeper. So Snowflake itself, we have a separate course. Snowflake itself a bigger data platform. Like Databricks and Snowflake are a bigger data platform by itself. You can do ingestion, you can do transformations, and you can do like different things in Snowflake itself.
Yeah, I already done Snowflake. That's
Okay.
That's why I'm asking.
Yeah. So we have a separate course here. It's more specific to AWS. So we are integrating with AWS and then doing some storage activity on Snowflake. That is where we are using Snowflake. So, but we are covering more of the AWS services, data engineering practice. We are more into engineering practices here.
Okay, fine. Okay.
Okay. Any questions from anyone? So I have already shared the payment URL. So if you are interested for the course, you can go and do the payment. If you want to have any questions, you can reach out to the our what like a group here. The number is already shared, or you can contact.
No, at what time the session is every day? It's like any schedule is there?
Session. Let me share it again. So you can see the timing here. So the morning session starts on 9 a.m. It
Okay,
is
fine.
to till 10:30. Okay, so on the evening session starts on 7:30. It goes to 9 p.m.
7:30 is okay. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. Okay.
So the morning batch starts on 19th September and the evening batch starts on 26th September.
Okay, fine.
Okay. So you can, if you are interested in any of this, or if you have any questions, you can reach out to our team. So we will help you to answer it. So if you have some questions, you can reach out to. Okay. So any questions from anyone? So we will stop it
have
here.
a small question
Yeah, go ahead.
related to contacting.
Yeah.
The details which you have shared, like you have shared your account information and all those things, right? So we can call on those numbers to approach you, right? For
Yeah.
one-to-one discussion.
Yeah. You can reach out. You can see the website. If you contact any
Yeah.
of the team, they will
Okay.
like send they will forward to me. Okay, so you can reach me out. I'll share my number also here. So you can reach me out if you have any questions. I shared my number also. So you can contact in WhatsApp if you have any questions.
I have some questions. That's the reason I asked you.
Thank you
For helping out.
Thanks everyone. Thanks everyone for joining the session. Thanks for joining the session. If you have any questions, you can reach out. Thanks everyone. Bye.